Illustrations by Pete.
Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I have something a little special for you. I have a birch tree in my backyard and it's always dropping pieces of birch bark and they call it a paper tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and use it like paper. Now this side has, this is the outside of the bark and it has some soft stuff on it that kind of comes off in your fingers. It's kind of disgusting. It gets kind of dirty. But on this side, it's rather, not really smooth, but there's nothing coming off on this side. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take some Liquitex matte medium, and I'm going to put it on this side, and put it face down on some watercolor paper, and try and use this as a surface to draw with, or to paint on. I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. But if you've ever wanted to know if you can use birch bark for art, I'm going to try it. Okay, so this is the fence behind my house, and that is the birch tree directly across from my back door. You see those pieces of paper that are flying around on it? This is a river birch, which isn't always white. Sometimes it's this dark brown color. But those things fall off, and they fall into my yard. And there's another one behind my neighbor to the right. And then there is another one behind my shed on the left. And these trees are always dropping this bark in my yard. There's this birch paper. And so there's some of it, and there's a close-up. Those are a little bit small. That's a little bit small piece, but it's okay. The one that I had was a little bit bigger, about the size of my hand or so. And there's my dog eating grass, and she doesn't like that I'm taking a picture of her, so she gives me a dirty look, and then continues to eat grass. So I'm going to use the Be Creative watercolor paper today, and I'll be using the Liquitex matte medium to stick the bark down to the page. Now, I made a mistake here. What I should have done was use acrylic paint to paint on the bark, and I didn't. I used gouache, and the reason that I say that I should have used the acrylic is because it's already being sealed on the back right here. So that's gonna, it's almost like dipping it in a polymer on the backside. And I should have done that as well on the front. If I would have painted with acrylic on the front, it would have been putting a polymer on the front. It would have probably preserved it for a little bit longer. So I usually use the Gamblin Coal Wax medium to seal any kind of watercolor or gouache. And with that, you just rub it over the top. I was afraid that doing that on this paper, it's very brittle. And you'll see as I'm painting that little pieces pop off here and there. Matter of fact, right there on the left, you'll see a little piece popped off the edge. It's just delicate. It's a dead piece of bark that fell off of a tree, so it's a little bit delicate. But it was fun to paint on. I do have to say it took the water medium very well. I actually did some wet on wet technique on this on the very bottom. You'll see, well, even on top, but on the bottom half of it, I guess, bottom third maybe, I did some wet into wet, and it worked great. I was very impressed for a piece of material that has no sizing on it, how well it took a water media like gouache. It was, now, okay, it wasn't watercolor. Gouache will lay on top of things that normally other water media would not, but it worked very well. Now what I'm putting on here is a landscape painting with a birch tree on the front right. That'll be in the foreground, so you can keep an eye out for that. I love drawing birch trees. That's one of my favorite things to draw. They're fun. There's so much texture to them. And I'm doing a white birch, so it's not going to be the actual kind of birch that you're seeing, the type of bark that I'm using. But still, it's a fun thing to draw. I love drawing birch trees. Okay, so I want to talk to you today about useless advice. And what I mean by that is when someone knows that you're interested in something. Look, anything I do, I become a student of. So I started a YouTube channel. I'm going to be a student of that. I'm going to try and learn how to do it the right way, learn how to connect with you, the audience, and hopefully bring together a community of people that want to help each other, that interact with each other, and just make it a friendly place to be for everyone. And there's a lot of good advice out there on how to do that, on how to reach people, on how to meet them where they are, and how to understand if you are reaching those people. And I was clicking on videos on how to do those kinds of things. There's tons of channels out there that tell you how to do that. But they don't all have good advice. As a matter of fact, the majority of them don't. They have very general, dumb advice. And it made me think, you have to be careful who your teacher is. You have to be careful who you take advice from. And the person said, well, you have to make sure the way that you get a YouTube channel to grow is, number one, you have to talk about a subject or have a video about a subject that people are interested in. And then you have to design a thumbnail that they will click on. And then, well, they just go on and on. Well, obviously you have to do those things. You have to get people to click on your video to build a community. You have to make sure that your videos are interesting for people to want to click on it. But they didn't tell you how. They were just listing the things. And these people have sometimes close to 1 million subscribers. And this is the kind of garbage they're feeding them. I don't understand how they keep those people. They may have hundreds and hundreds of videos, and they almost all say the same thing, just like that. People think you're going to help them, and then you don't. You just say something that's general. How about if you asked me how to paint a picture, and I said, well, you get paint, and then you paint it. But you already know that. That's not what you're asking me, is it? No, that's definitely not what you're asking me. Now, okay, just watch out for that when you're looking for a mentor or a teacher. Make sure that what they're giving you is useful. Make sure that you're able to move forward with it. They don't even have to be better than you are at that thing. You can look at athletes, or it could be whether it's a professional fighter or a boxer, or they play baseball or football or whatever it is. Those people have coaches, and those coaches can't actually do what they're telling that person to do, yet that person can benefit from what the coach is saying because they understand what they're saying, and they can transmit that information in a way that makes it easy to understand, and the person gets it, and because of that they become better. But just make sure that the person you're learning from, or the person who's your mentor, really has your best interests in mind when they're teaching you. They're not just trying to make themselves look good. Okay, the question I have for you today is not related to anything I just said. Imagine that. Okay, so it is, do you think it's better to stay up late to get more done or get up earlier? Every time I hear someone say, the best advice I could give you is to get up a little bit earlier in the morning and start getting some things done. That way you feel like you accomplished something during the day. But I always stay up later. I always stay up probably till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm going to work on something. It's just as quiet. I have just as much energy. I might have some bags under my eyes, and you'll see that in the videos. So what do? Would you prefer getting up earlier or staying up later to get some more work done? I'd like you to let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And check out these other 2 videos if you enjoyed what you saw here. It's only 1:30 in the morning, so I'm going to go do some more things. See you next time.